Hey, just letting you know this is only my spoiler first impressions of the episode. Want to watch my reaction? Click on the free gift in my pinned comment. Or join my Asha Media TV Club to access all of my unfiltered reactions. The link is in the description box below. Now, here's my afterthoughts of this episode of Upload. I'm going to be honest, and I think it was quite obvious when they first showed those pods in the previous episode that was going to likely be a possibility, but I didn't want to say anything out loud because I was like, maybe I might be reaching too far. At best, I thought her body was going to be in there. Not her body. Who was I thinking? I was thinking of somebody who's part of this whole thing. I thought there was going to be a reveal of someone's body in there that is pulling the strings, right? And they never did that. They just had it where Mateo and all of them just pulled the plug on everybody and left. So I was like, all right, maybe not. But that seems to be maybe a different facility doing the same thing and where she's keeping his body alive. Well, at least it answers the question why she's faking it, waiting for the opportune time to have his download into his body. So there's that. Yay. Good to get some answers on that front. Second last episode. Okay. I have mixed thoughts, though, and mixed feelings about this episode as a whole, considering this is the second last one. I think we've progressed well enough to see, okay, what's now the big picture? What are these guys doing with Freon? What's the goal? Playing around with their national election. Again, really hitting the nose of one of the biggest political topics in the U.S. I'm not from the U.S., so I don't need to be to not know that it's quite a sensitive subject when it comes to elections and cheating and all that stuff. But I'll give them kudos for really thinking that far. I didn't expect it to at all be on that level of a story. I mean, you tell me, did you think it was going to lead to something major on a political front? And it ties in nicely. It ties in nicely. So even though it was very surprising, I like that it does follow with what they've been trying to prove the entire season, right? You've got this one group that is trying to help the poor by taking down the corrupt rich, and here's one example for them to fight against and try to help poor people who are being exploited or disenfranchised, as they had used in the episode. Really beyond what I thought it was going to be. On one hand, though, I will admit it's maybe too much into our current politics of things. It's too much of a reflection of it that I kind of wish they didn't really go there. I mean, just a bit. It depends on how they go about ending or finding a solution in the next episode. I would have wanted something that would have reflected an end goal that has something to do with more advanced technology or more advanced means to profit from this whole digital process of uploading consciousnesses and stuff like that, rather than just for tipping elections and all that. But it's okay. It's a minor point. The whole day trip now, that was fun. It had some really fun moments, and it had moments where, I'm just like, okay, because I'm not on board with Aleesha and Luke. But if that's what I have to accept anyway, I like the moments where it's fun to watch and the moments where it's not fun to watch, whatever, Shrug, wince, cringe, whatever. But if anything, I do like that they showed some idea from Aleesha's perspective as to why she really doesn't have much respect for him. I mean, that whole line with the fact that he doesn't judge, and that's actually a problem because you have that woman he's screwing that says very terrible things, and if you're not judging that, I understand from her perspective, that's her way of, like, what kind of person are you if you don't even draw the line as to what's acceptable and what's not acceptable with people. I wish they touched on it a bit more with a deeper conversation with them, because there's so much comedy stuff with them that if you're going to go there with a little bit of seriousness, just go a little further. We've seen a lot of this wacky stuff between them. We've seen so much of it. I mean, hell, they had a whole full scene where he's staring at her chest and then getting off on watching her show him that routine. So that's slightly disappointing that they just went real with them for just a few lines, barely a couple of lines, and then back to wackiness between the two. So, maybe it's just me wanting to see more depth with Aleesha. So it's like any little aspects of it that comes through, I want more. And the actress performs it really well when she gets quite serious. And so I just want to see more of that. And if I'm going to buy into the Luke and Aleesha relationship that they're trying to create here, I want to see more dimensions to it. All right, predictions. Because, you've been watching my reactions and my videos. I like to have my wacky theories. I honestly don't know what to expect. This whole political thing of using upload to tip elections really threw me off. And I mean, at best, if they're really going to bring things to another level, at best, I actually wouldn't mind if they find a clever way to rush downloading Nathan's consciousness to his body and he wakes up in his body. I could even see them having that as an ending scene that will lead us into a third season. So I actually don't mind if they rush to that point, because this is now 2 seasons in where Nathan is in Lakeview, but there's only so much he can do to help with the real world. And then we've got Nora in the real world, and then we've got Mateo that's been benched, and I hope they touch back on the Luds in the next episode, because they got a lot to wrap up. So yeah, the best thing I could predict is that Nathan hopefully gets his body at the end of the episode, so that season 3 will have us on a different level with him. And will she be exposed for, Ingrid, for not being really dead? I could see that being a possibility. If we're going to have AI guy, or was that AI guy? Because wasn't that guy, the original human, wasn't he supposed to spy as an AI guy? So I thought that was supposed to be him. I'm not sure. But yeah, and I totally missed the ball with the previous episode. I've acknowledged it in my reaction. It happens. Sometimes I'll miss a line or just not understand what was going on, and from there make a false judgment. So yeah, now it's clear she was only being tested for 24 hours. She failed miserably somehow, in my opinion, as a viewer, but for them, it was enough for the. It was impressive that she got as far as the final stages of that baby. Okay. But that part where he gives her a decent score for her to have a digital baby, all I'll say is I don't agree. Because anybody admitting that they're faking their death for love, for someone who doesn't love you back the same way, all the more so, that would put alarm bells, because that means you're quite desperate to really go to lengths to deceive somebody. That's not somebody I would want to give a baby to. But AI guy maybe doesn't know any better. So I'm going to choose to believe that was an actual AI guy and not a human person who wouldn't be recognizing those things in her. Anyway. So that's all I'm going to say for now. That's all I got for Wacky Theory. If anything comes to mind, it'll likely be as I'm watching the episode. So we'll see what happens. There you have it. Those are my afterthoughts for episode number 6 out of 7 of the second season of Upload. If you want to binge watch all of my reactions to this season, they're available right now for you at ashamediatvclub.com. The link is in the description box for you to check it out, as well as other bonuses that I share exclusively with members and not here on YouTube. All right, people, on to the final episode of the season. I will see you in that video. Peace out for now. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and check out my other videos.